at the trailer where Playing Buffalo was being run. TJ told us last week about Playing Buffalo, the wildland firefighter group, being run from Jerry's home. This is the home that was his at the time. And it's been an interesting night that we've had out here.
It has, and one thing I would mention is this is also the home that I think Ronie was staying at, taking care of Jerry's wife, that TJ also mentioned.
Yes.
And so there's a lot, I think, that goes on in this trailer that has to do with Ronie. And I think we've heard some more information about that this evening.
Yes, without a doubt. You know, and so at first I got to tell you, I was a little, was kind of trying to figure out, because the property does not look very big here. And so how were they working and had the fire trucks parked out here and everything like that? But we had somebody that we spoke with here who we won't name names, but they let us know a little bit about how the trucks are parked, and this was definitely the place that Playing Buffalo was being run out of as well.
Right. He also mentioned that he did know that there was some drugs, meth, cooking, different things that we've heard about throughout this case that took place in this trailer.
Yep. Our what we heard about drugs being run out of here has definitely been verified tonight. But the interesting thing is too is what he said about what they said about a gunshot.
A gunshot. And the gunshot apparently went out the window and hit the neighbor's trailer even. And from what he said, he was asleep, so it sounds like it was at night. Yep.
So that's definitely an interesting thing. So I know that that the police have said that they don't know for sure where Ronie was killed, but we know without a doubt that there was, now that around that time there was at least one gunshot at night.
Questionable and questionable activities.
And so that's been very interesting, and I think that TJ mentioned a shed that Ronie had some stuff in, and there's a shed here on the property, and so
we verified a lot of information, I think, this evening.
Yes, without a doubt, and so it's been a good night to be out here, and I think we might come back and see what else we can find out.
Yes, sounds good.
All right, well, now we're going to hear from Bernadette and hear some things that she had to say about what was going on the day before in Ronie's life. And, I'll just say this, that I think that she'll have some interesting things to tell us too.
Yes, I think she talks a little bit about Ronie's state of mind the day before, so I think that'll be interesting to get the perspective on that one.
Yep. So, once again, this is Into Darkness Northwest. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for the Bernadette interview, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel, and get talking. We want people talking about this case. We want people talking about what happened to Ronie. We want to see this cold case become a closed case.
Yes.
Real quick, I did want to get your names on camera too, so just for our people. So, and I know we've kind of discussed a little bit this already, but just your names and how you knew Ronie really quick. Again.
Okay, my name's Bernadette. I met Ronie way back in the day on Thurman Drive in Boise, Idaho. Well, Garden City, Idaho. I think before she got pregnant with Miriam. Actually, it was back before that. Okay, so maybe 20 years or more than that. I was getting her confused with Misty, because I met Misty about 30 years ago. Misty and her son both knew Ronie too. Okay. And she lives right down here, so.
Oh, wow.
But her son Bo knew her more than she did.
Yeah. Okay.
But she also lived with Misty for a little while too. But anyway, I met her way back when. We ran and gunned together, had fun and played, got in trouble with each other, and that's how I met Ron.
Very good.
And then, your name?
My name's Alan.
The thing.
I met Ronie through Bernadette, and I knew her probably 3 years before she died. I don't know, I can't remember what year she died, but,
You met her at a restaurant.
I
We
know.
went to downtown,
I know.
near where she was living.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Huh?
I
That
said
was
I
the
remember
first time
that.
you ever met her.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had gone, she was one friend that we would go and visit,
Uh-huh.
and,
I had lost touch with her, and then we reconnected back on Facebook, and then we made a plan to meet at a restaurant, and it was nice to see her again after all the years, and then we just never fell out of touch after that.
yeah. That's, you know, I met David,
Me again.
yeah, I met him somewhere, but wasn't
Threw
really.
me again at a guy named Shane. Okay, Shane Grobel and David.
Okay.
Okay. And I heard he moved recently from Oregon to somewhere, but anyway, so he met Dave when we were going over to Shades to buy some weed. Okay. And David, he happened to be the one that we were buying the weed from.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know, I was like, whoa, blast from the past, you know, and he was clean and sober at the time except for me, you know, and we chit-chatted for a little while, and he liked to call him the Sammy Hagar wannabe, you know, so.
Yeah.
Did he deal other things besides weed?
Did,
yeah.
huh?
Did David deal other things besides
Yeah.
weed?
Oh yeah, he did methamphetamine. That he was doing methamphetamine very heavy right around the time all this was happened to Ronnie.
Was he dealing though?
That could be possible too. We believe that he was cooking in that back bedroom or back apartment that was connected to the front house. It was in the basement. We believe he was cooking in there because we could smell
We
things
could smell the
coming from
chemical
there.
smell
We smelled
coming
it.
up through the floor.
We know what that smells
floor
like.
vents. Yeah, I've smelled it before, and I'm pretty sure that he was making it,
Okay.
but I don't
So-
know. I did see some.
And we did purchase some
Yeah, we
from him too.
didn't lie about that. We
You
did.
know.
You know, he sold it to us. So, but it was scary to me because he wanted to fight about everything. You know.
And we both overheard him threaten to kill Ronnie a lot. They'd argue and whatnot, fight right outside the house there and inside the apartment, and you can't but help but overhear it. If
So
you're right
what
there.
was their relationship, Ronnie and Dave's?
Oh God, it was
Were they a boyfriend and girlfriend?
yes, off and on,
Off and
off and on, off
Okay.
and on for years.
Okay.
And years. Okay. From after she broke up with Rob, she re-entered my life again and come to stay with me. And right around the same time, we both met David.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know who met him first, but we were kind of at first in competition with each other to get with David and I, you know. And then after I got to know him and I knew that him and her had formed a bond, if you will, I was kind of happy that it wasn't me, you know.
Right.
Because I kind of got to know him. He was a very strange individual. Very, very strange individual. Very weird.
Okay.
You know. And so they were on again, off again, and their relationship was very physical, violent, and yet again, passionate, and hot, and steamy, you know. The two ends of the spectrum, if you will, you know. And when it get in between, they both get bored,
Okay.
you know. And then boom, it would build up the tension stage, and then they'd go at each other. And he eventually started abusing her very badly at times, you know. So then they'd break it off, and then later on they'd come back together, and they were off and on and off and on. you know. But when we knew them, they weren't really a couple, but I suspected that they still had sex with each other.
Convenience.
Yeah. Because she was really jealous of the other women in his life.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. And then she would be vindictive, and he'd be vindictive, and then, you know, it was just a very, very dysfunctional, very unhealthy relationship between the two of them. And then he heard of something that Ronie did from David
Yeah.
on David's behalf. Speak up so their microphone can hear
Well,
you.
she,
In real
What did you hear about David and Ronie?
same thing. I could actually hear them fighting and arguing, and 'cause the house was subdivided, so it was easy to hear. One of the last things that I remember is that Ronie had obtained a pound of weed from one of David's suppliers, and
David's hookups.
and he ended up, I don't know if he paid for it or how he made it right with his dealer, but
Which could have very well have been either Jerry or that other guy that was his hookup for the weed. Okay, so therein lies
I never,
because I do know that they both were getting weed basically from the same guy at that time.
yeah,
You know.
I never saw it though, I never saw the pound, we didn't see
Oh, you
any,
never would.
yeah,
Well, what's interesting about that is we had spoken with Maya. Maya had said to us when we were talking to her recently. She said that she believed that she was one of the last people to actually talk to Ronie. She said that she was on the phone with her when she showed up at a gas station. She believed it was the Maverick station, and they had been talking. And she said that her mom, that Ronie had told her that she picked up a pound of weed. So, but she said, but my mom didn't tell me where she got it from. Just that it was like casual conversation.
Tell Maya that.
But
yeah, she picked it up all right, and didn't pay for it, and,
No, she picked it up
So-
in place of David. Told him that David sent her there
yeah,
to pick it
So
up, and then she stole it from him.
Tila told us a story, and it's on our YouTube. You'll hear her that that David and Ronie had gotten into a fight because of something that she had stolen. Could it have potentially been that weed?
Yeah.
Could have been the weed. Yes.
what
And
about
prior to that, it was over a motorcycle that they had bought
oh
together.
yeah, that's right,
That she basically paid the bulk, the lion's share of it, and he would not give it to her.
okay? Was there?
But that was far back.
That was way
That
before
wasn't. It wasn't
was
a real
ongoing.
recent thing.
but it was ongoing, it was a while ago, but they argued
It
about
was
the
already
motorcycle
ongoing
for a
now. That
long
was
time.
another ongoing thing.
Was there any?
So I think what she did was she went and got that pound of weed to regain the money that she spent on that motorcycle
Okay.
and to pay him do him a lesson.
Okay.
Was there any stolen license plates in
Oh, yeah.
this at all?
Remember he stole license plates off of somebody's car to put it on that truck or whatever that he borrowed from Tila.
I don't know, but the sheriff's department showed up at our house one night asking about him driving a
Suburban.
Suburban
Yeah, it
that
was the
belonged
Suburban that he borrowed from
belonged
Tila.
to Tila, and Tila's husband, what was his name?
Richard.
Richard. It came back registered to Richard, but it was still registered to our address. So that's why the police showed up, and I told him that he had permission to use it because that's what they had loaned it to him, but that's pretty much all the police
And
asked.
I'm pretty sure it was with Ronnie's urgent, you know, and let him do it. You can trust him. I'll make sure, you know, because I don't think Tila and Richard like David very much. So I don't see them offering up the Suburban to him for his use without Ronnie's, you know,
Urging.
encouraging
So
that.
did Ronie get along with Tila and her husband?
No, she did not like Richard.
Okay.
She did not like Richard at all. Okay,
But
but
they
she
lived-
tolerated him
They lived
because
together.
of
Is that correct?
Tila.
Okay.
She would tolerate Richard because of Tila, but there
Okay.
was a few times where her and Richard got into it. Oh yeah.
But they lived together, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They did.
So Tila and her husband moved to Nampa,
Yes, and Ronnie refused to go
and Ronie refused.
because all her weed contacts were here,
Okay.
and when she couldn't work, you know, security for events, you know, she needed something, you know, to get by on. She was very independent,
Mhm.
okay, and she couldn't move to Nampa because all her clientele were here there
In
in
Boise?
Boise,
Mhm.
in the Boise area. So she refused to go to Nampa with Tila,
Okay.
which I wish she wouldn't have.
So she was, so just to kind of clarify, so Ronie was dealing as well?
I know that she was at least dealing weed.
Mhm.
I don't know about meth. However, David, he was dealing both weed and meth.
Okay.
Because he sold to us.
Yeah.
Then and he's seen what he's had before,
Mhm.
and he would have lots of it. Remember?
Yeah.
He'd show you baggies with like
Yeah.
Wow.
a shit ton in
Do
it.
you know where he was getting them?
I think he was making it.
I think he was making it.
Where was he getting the weed?
Of the weed?
That was-
Tom, Jerry
Jerry.
Tom. Jerry. I only knew the man as Jerry, and that he was something to do with the fire crew.
But you never heard where Jerry was getting it?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I have no idea. I just know that he had it in big quantities.
Okay.
So what do you know about Dave getting picked up for the guns? Because I know he just got out.
Yeah, he had
Couple months
gotten
ago.
out of prison,
Mm-hmm.
and was doing okay.
He was driving
For a
that
long time.
Suburban though,
And
and
he was
it
driving the Suburban,
I think it had mechanical.
and it had, well, whatever,
They
Yeah,
pulled him over for some reason. That
got pulled over by a cop or was pulled over already,
Mhm.
and some cops stopped or something, but, you know, they wound up searching the car for some reason and found the firearms in his car. Whether it was one or more, I'm not sure. But I know he went back to prison on weapons charges because he's a felon.
Yeah.
And he's not allowed to have firearms.
Right.
Okay, so they sent him back to prison.
Mhm.
Okay, while he was in prison, I heard rumors that he spoke to his cellie about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
But for that being a fact, I don't know.
I think we've
But-
heard some of those same
Mhm.
rumors.
His cellie, I supposedly heard some things that point to the fact that he did kill or had something to do with the death of Ronnie.
That seems to be what a lot of people think. For us, the one thing we're trying really hard to make sure to cover all bases.
And I truly believe
Okay.
I truly do. It was him. I swear to God, it had to be him and somebody else from that fire crew.
And so, so why would you think that Jerry was involved?
Simply because that's where David got his weed from.
Mhm.
Okay. Both of them would be mad because Ronnie took that. Now David is responsible for paying it, and David ain't gonna pay it. So now here's Jerry. Jerry's mad now because a pound of weed's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now we're talking a lot of money on the street.
Do you know roughly how much?
Would you?
Pound? Well, I don't know how good it was. I'd say
They got some pretty good weed.
I'd say
Let me tell
12 to 1,500 maybe.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
About that.
Okay.
You know.
That's
So
not good
here's
weed.
here's Jerry, out the money for the weed because he can't hold David responsible for it because he let it go to Ronnie. Okay, now they're both pissed off at Ronnie.
Do you know? Because I understand where you're coming from
Because
there.
a
But
lot of shit happens in that dope world.
yes,
Yeah.
there
Over
is.
small amounts or big amounts, it don't matter. I've had a girlfriend murdered by her own boyfriend over a $25 quarter paper.
Right.
Wow.
Slit her throat.
Wow.
Took her
So,
in a shopping cart and dumped her off behind the 7-Eleven on Fairview.
did you ever
Years
hear about Ronnie living with Jerry? Like staying there and helping to take care of his wife?
Yeah, I do remember something about that.
Did you ever hear about Ronnie being upset with Jerry during that time?
I think so. I think Jerry kicked her out.
Jerry kicked her out?
I think so.
Okay.
And I think Ronnie was upset.
Because this was after you guys, like, they'd gotten kicked out of the place and Tila had moved over to Nampa.
Yeah.
And Ronnie didn't
Right.
have a place to stay.
Right.
So
And
she
then
went and
she
stayed
was,
with Jerry?
She went to stay, yeah, probably so.
Okay.
Because it was a little while after they moved that she showed up at our house.
Yeah.
You know, she'd been gone a couple months or more.
And then she got kicked out of there, and that's probably about when she was living, you said, down by the
on the
river?
river and frequenting a house that was near there
Okay.
of other people who, yeah, that was a bad crowd over there, but
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about a possible
Like either a police raid or a drug deal gone bad or anything like that.
at that house,
yes.
I did. I heard something about that, and they came in. A few people went to jail on possessions or something, but they didn't really get them what they wanted to get them.
And that was at Jerry's house?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Jerry's or it was that house.
It was
that-
the other house, I think.
That
I don't
other
think it was
house.
Jerry's. I think it was the other house.
Yeah, it was the other house. It was not
Okay.
Jerry's.
And was Ronnie part of that, or was she not there when that happened?
I don't think she was there when it happened. I think she came right shortly after that it happened.
She wasn't living there, that's,
No, she wasn't living there.
Right.
but she
She
would
was
go there.
staying, camping out on the river and whatnot, but she would go there.
Well, she kept some of her stuff at that house.
Yeah,
And she'd
some
go
of
get
her
it.
stuff was there.
Yeah, I had to
Okay.
take her to that house to get something, and then I drove her down by wherever she told me to. I can't remember exactly where it was, cause
But I bet
I
you if
went
you
there
went down
once.
there, you could
I kind of remember where it
pinpoint
is.
or at least get in the general area.
Yeah.
Do you know where that house was at?
It was,
Did you ever take her there?
yeah, I took her there,
Then
but
he
I
knows
don't,
where the house
you
is.
know,
Yeah, roundabout,
yeah.
you do. I mean, she,
Whose house was it?
huh?
Whose house was it? Do you know?
It
No
was a house
idea.
full of felons because she was afraid to be around
I
that
think
house
it was a
too.
rental. I don't think anybody there owned it.
Okay.
I think it's somebody there was renting it.
Do you
It had a
know?
bunch of, it was like a flop house, basically.
So this flop house, people were arrested there.
Uh-huh.
Were
And I don't believe Ronnie was there at that time, but I think she showed up a little while after it.
do you know if
Shortly after.
do you know if any of the people that were living there were upset with her over the police raid or anything?
No, I just think that it was Jerry's wife and her and Jerry that were upset with each other.
Okay.
Okay, and when she was at the house, I don't believe anybody was upset with her there.
Okay.
And it was only a place where she would go to store some things of hers
Because
that she didn't want to leave at the campsite when she would leave it.
okay. Because with us, like I said, we've heard a name mentioned a lot, a couple names mentioned a lot, but you know we're trying really hard just to kind of look at every possible angle as far as to determine, because sometimes sometimes there have been cases where it looks like, and a lot of times is the person you think it is, but every once in a while there's that, it was somebody else that was completely unexpected.
It could be.
And,
It could be.
so we're
but
just
in this
trying to
case,
see.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're just trying to see if
It's
there's.
gotta be somebody on that fire crew.
Yeah, we're just trying to see if there was
because
anybody
where
else
the body was found.
that might have had kind of a beef with her, or, you know, that would have been upset with her for anything. So.
David is the only one I know of.
The only
I know
people
a lot
that
of
I know
friends.
that were upset with her was David, Jerry's wife, and Jerry.
Why was Jerry's wife upset with her?
It had something to do with her taking care of her thing. I'm not sure what all that was, because like I said, when Ronnie's doing dope, she's not exactly honest all the way
Okay.
about what she does and whatnot. I just know that they were upset with her,
So
and
Jerry
she
is
was upset with them.
Okay.
And it was a he said, she said thing, you know.
Okay. You'd mentioned something about where Ronnie was found, and that makes you feel like it was somebody in the fire crew.
Yes.
And I know we talked a little bit off camera, but you mind go ahead and sharing again why where her body was found says to you that it was maybe somebody in the fire crew.
She was found in the foothills in Boise off the side of a fire road. Those fire road gates are locked. It's not something you can just go drive down. Okay, you can't. You have to park your car and walk up to it and go around the gate and go in. Okay? She was found so far down from the entrance gate that there's no way somebody's gonna carry her that far. Okay? Her body that far. And if they did take her there and she was alive when she got there, why would she willingly go there? Out in the middle of nowhere like that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the murder happened there.
Okay.
I believe the murder happened somewhere else and she was brought there.
Okay.
And that somebody had a fire key, you know, the key to the fire road gates, went in, closed the gate, disposed of her body, and left. And I believe that it makes more sense that it would be two people and not just one.
Yeah.
You know, there was two people involved. One that did the actual deed, and then the one that helped clean it up.
You said you had seen her the day before. You want to tell us a little bit about that night and the last time you saw her?
Yeah, she came. I don't know. To me, she acts spooked.
She acted spooked?
She acted a little spooked.
Had
You know,
she
and
stolen the
scared.
weed at this point?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she,
and she
okay.
acted spooked and a little scared.
Mhm.
But with Ronnie, how can I put it? It takes a lot to get her that spooked or that scared or whatever. And she was hinting about wanting to stay, but we were ignoring it, you know. And she asked for batteries for her headlamp for her bicycle, and we didn't have her. And then when she left kind of going, I really don't want to go, but I got to, you know, this kind of thing, you know.
Did she mention why she was spooked?
No clue.
No.
Okay.
She did not mention anything, but we kind of knew what she was spooked about because of what was transpired with the weed and David and us knowing David, and he was, at this time, behavioral wise, he was like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. He really was.
Okay.
I mean, just a time bomb.
Okay.
Anything, any little thing would have set him off. He knows that. I know that. I know that. And when he's like that, yeah, he's a very weird individual. I was with him one night that he went to a house to go collect some money that was owed to him. This was years ago. And he had taken a gun with him, and he had it in his pants, okay? And he went to get the gun out of his pants and shot himself in the thigh with the gun. And I dug out the bullet myself at my house.
So he wasn't just a dealer, he collected.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's
yes.
interesting. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's.
And that was back in the day, though.
Was he still doing that at the time that Ronnie disappeared?
Oh, I'm sure he was. You know,
Okay.
I mean, people owed him money. He's gonna go get it.
Okay.
You know, I mean, anybody who deals has got to do that.
Yeah.
You know, they owe you money. I mean, okay.
Had you seen David within the few days before Ronnie disappeared, or the day she disappeared?
I think we did.
Well, I can't remember when he moved out, because the
He
night
moved out shortly before she was murdered.
Did he move out or was he evicted?
he was evicted.
He was evicted. He was evicted.
And he had to get out the last day.
And he had oodles and oodles of cats.
Yeah.
That's how he got one of ours.
Yeah.
Because we had lost one of ours, and Ronnie went in and picked a kitty and gave it to us. And Haley's the only thing I have of her left now.
Well, because one of the things that was mentioned is that Ronnie, a lot of times, because she was caring, as you said, felt like she needed to help him, like take care of the animals, and that she. So, when they were both, did they ever get clean together?
Yeah, they did.
They did, and when they were clean, how were they?
They were fine.
Okay.
They still fought
Well,
like
yeah.
cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And he was still, you know, white's a white beater, always a white beater. You know, rule of thumb. That part is just ingrained. It just gets worse with dope added to it. You know, but like I said, their relationship was on again, off again, and it was very dysfunctional and unhealthy, regardless whether they were sober or not,
Okay.
clean and sober or not. They weren't ever actually clean because they still smoked weed. But to me, weed is medicinal. It's not, you know, a hard drug or anything like that. I don't look at it that way. Okay, so. But when I say dope, I'm meaning the powdered stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure both of them dabbled a little bit with the heroin, but mainly they were just meth addicts.
Do you have any idea how like had you seen or heard how David was reacting to the stolen weed, or maybe how he found out about
That's
it?
how he found out. David told him.
David told you about that? You want to tell us about that conversation?
Just casually talking, and he just told me what she did. We weren't really close friends, but in fact, he was mad at me for a long time. But our house, we had a kitchen fire, and because he was a fireman, I ran back there and said, "David, the house is on fire," and he came flying out the door, and that kind of mended our whatever. I can't remember what he was mad about, but he'd get mad about something and didn't want to fight about it. And
But when he told you about Ronnie stealing the weed, did he seem angry?
oh yeah, he was angry.
Like, what would he say? Because I wasn't there. I was told after the fact by him.
He just said he wanted to get the money or get his weed back.
Was he threatening her in any way, or?
Yeah, no, he did. I can't remember exactly what words he used, but he was mad, and he did want to get even, get his money or his weed, and he was really mad about it. It was money out of his pocket.
Was there, just kind of circling back just the motorcycle really quick, because I did have a clarification question. I know you guys had mentioned that there was maybe some fighting over the motorcycle and possibly some stolen license plates. Did Ronnie ever steal license plates from David that you know of?
Did Ronnie ever steal license plates from David?
No.
Yeah.
Not that
No,
I'm
because
aware of.
the only thing he drove that
Fire
truck everywhere.
Except for when he had the Suburban.
Yeah, until he had the Suburban, and then the last day he lived there, he loaded the Suburban full of stuff, all of his cats, and he had